Well, earlier I spoke to Middle East expert Edmund Ghareeb about Lebanon's political crisis and the developments. I started by asking him what was behind Saad Hariri's sudden resignation.
Well, we still don't know, actually. We heard the statement that he made while he was visiting Riyadh, and he explained that this was, in many ways, where he expressed his opposition to the role Hezbollah is playing in Syria, to the role Iran is playing in the Middle East, and they said that this cannot continue. So that was one
was Saudi Arabia really forcing his hand on this?
It's really difficult to say, but there's no doubt that the Saudis were unhappy with the developments taking place in Lebanon. There have been reports also that the Saudis had expected that the government of Lebanon, the government of National Unity Government, which you have President Aoun was agreed upon to become the president, or former general, a former commander of the army, and Prime Minister Hariri, who is close to Saudi Arabia, would become the prime minister. And there was hope that perhaps this new arrangement from the Saudi perspective, from the perspective perhaps of the US, of France, would put pressure on Hezbollah and its role in Syria, and maybe try to remove Lebanon away from the Syrian conflict, also in some of the other regional conflicts. But apparently there's been a disappointment on that perspective because of the continuing successes that the Syrian military has been making on the ground in Syria.
Well, it's really curious that he just had this meeting on November the 2nd in Beirut with Iranian officials.
Well, that's another interesting thing. There are some who say that Hariri has not done enough to try to limit the role of Hezbollah, and that he has been willing to cooperate with Iran and to try to
they were
keep
trying
Lebanon
to move
away.
him out and bring in his younger brother.
That's at least one of the interpretations. He has today continued to say that this was his decision, his own decision, but it took an effort to bring him back. The French had to send the prime minister. He thanked France for its international role, for the fact that France is a major player on the international scene. And he said that he's going to go back and explain his decision in Lebanon. He will return on Lebanese Independence Day on Wednesday, and then he will meet with the president and explain his position.
He said he was worried for his life. Why would he feel safe now to go back on Independence Day?
Well, that's a very good question, actually. There's no doubt that if this was the case, because there were a lot of people who were surprised, actually, that he did go at this time and that he announced this resignation. Because many including some of his supporters, said that they did not expect that. And this is what led some people to claim that this was written for him by the Saudis. So basically, this is an issue that remains there, and I think we have to wait. This is now this trip to Paris ends one chapter of this drama, and we're going to see another chapter being opened now when he goes back to Beirut.